But I wanted to tell you the story of my first book. Now I have 5 books. They're all bestsellers in 6 different languages. They sell still to this very day. These 5 books are amongst the biggest sellers of trading books. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that I wrote one of the first day trading books in the entire industry back in the 90s. It was published in 2000, but it was written in the late 1990s. As a matter of fact, it was written through the entire 1990s, starting from 1994. So the publishing date of that culmination of writing happened in 2000, but I was writing from 1994. And so my first book, Tools and Tactics of the Master Day Trader, was the first day trading book in the entire world. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? I had a tremendously hard time initially when that book was initially published in 2000. So when it was finally published in 2000 by McGraw-Hill. Now, McGraw-Hill is like one of the top, if not the top publishing house in the entire world. Multi-billion-dollar firm. Look them up. S&P 500, S&P 100 company, not 500, 100. They don't play around. They only take the best. And so anyway, to make a long story short, Amazon, right, was on the scene for a while, but by that time they were pretty powerful in their online presence. That's going all the way back to 2000, that they had started to gain some power in terms of what were people saying about your book on Amazon. So I had this team of traders. It was 8 traders that literally created a bunch of email accounts, right? So maybe every trader had 10 or 12, 15 different email accounts, whatever. And what they would do in shifts, 24 hours a day, when my book came, is that this is crazy, right? They would sit at the computer on Amazon, and for each account, they would write the most horrible reviews from the book. Crazy as that. Each one would have between 10 and 15 email accounts, and each one would literally sit there every day for months and write a negative review so that my first book's ratings would have 1 star. And this was a concerted effort to bring my book down or to take it off the shelves, because at the time, bookstores were still very, very powerful. Amazon was coming on the scene, but bookstores were still very powerful. So when bookstores saw that they had a book on their shelves that was getting really terrible reviews across the board on Amazon, they would pull the book off the shelf. That was the concerted effort to pull my first book off the shelf. Now, why people would spend their time doing this is really, truly beyond me. I'm in this business for trading 38 years, professionally 33 years, teaching from 1994 in the industry, right? And I have no idea why. I have no idea why someone would dedicate their life to this. But anyway, that's the story I'm going to tell. And I'm going to give you some more insight into how the book came into being and who was involved and this and that. It's an interesting story because this book today is a classic. The very first day trading book in the entire industry. Number 1. Not only the number 1 seller, the number 1 day trading book to ever be written. Find one that's written before mine. Can't. Right? This industry is young. Not tremendously old like a lot of people think it is. The investment world is relatively old. but and even the trading world is sort of old, but the day trading world is very young, still relatively young. Well, comparatively speaking, Just interesting. So that video is coming up where I'll give you the whole insight. Some people are interested in these things. They're interested in the history. And I think that you should be interested in the history of what you're involved in. Because if you don't know where you have come from, where your industries come from, the thing that you are fascinated with, interested in, and want to do well with, where was that? How did it come into being? Who were some of the initial players? Who were some of the pioneers? Who contributed to your opportunity to do this today? And I will tell you, I'm one of them. And, so a lot of people don't want that to be so untrue. They want it to be untrue, but it's not untrue, and it's documented. So it's crazy, but that story is coming, at least just for the portion of my following that wants to hear things like that. So sometimes I do stories, I do educational content, I do tips, I do strategies, I talk about broad things like where I think the market is or what have you. So I mix it up a little bit, but this one's going to be sort of like history, stories. Yes. And Steve Nissen candlesticks. That's right. Absolutely. Not a day trading book though. Written before mine. Steve Nissen's technical analysis of Japanese candlesticks. Great book. Never read his second one, by the way. And I know Steve very well. Very well. I know that little guy very well. Known each other for decades. But when I say one of the first day trading books, one of the first books with day trading in the title, that is specifically targeted to day trading, that book was not a day trading.